Caitlin Clark's latest Instagram story set off a storm of speculation. Some fans swore it was a comeback teaser, hinting she might return deeper into the playoffs. Others saw it as a quiet shot at the Fever for shutting her season down too early. But the loudest buzz? The idea that Clark could skip the downtime and jump straight into Unrivaled. The rumor caught fire fast. After months sidelined, it makes sense she'd be itching to play, and plenty of people would love to see it happen. But here's the reality.
No, not this time.
Caitlin Clark isn't stepping into Unrivaled, and the real reason why is already in plain sight. This video is quick, so stick with me until the end. You'll see why a decision not to rush back is actually good news, and why what she's planning next is even bigger. But first, if you think Caitlin will touch the court again before the 2026 WNBA season, hit that like button right now. Alright, let's break down why so many fans believe she'd jump into Unrivaled, and why that just isn't happening.
Now, how could an injury like this be prevented? Believe it or not, one way could actually be playing in Unrivaled. And not because Unrivaled is fun to watch, just because Unrivaled is an actual development league, and it could get her into game shape so that when she does go into the WNBA, there isn't as much of like a shock about getting in and playing against all the competitors, because, you know, she's definitely a target out there.
On paper, the Unrivaled idea actually adds up. Caitlin Clark can't afford to roll into next season ice cold. 8 or 9 months with zero competitive basketball just isn't realistic. Sure, last year's break may have helped her mentally recharge, but physically and rhythm-wise, she needs representatives, and Unrivaled checks a lot of those boxes. It's short-term. It's all in one location. It only runs a few months. Plus, the money's no joke. The league just secured a massive Series B round, putting its valuation at $340 million. That's serious cash, and with that kind of backing, you know they'll try to drop a bag on Caitlin Clark.
Now, maybe they didn't have it last year, but now they have deep enough pockets. They have a well that they could go to, reach in that well, pull out a big bag of money, and finally approach the big dog with a real contract. Finally approach the big dog with a real offer. Yeah, that 1 million, 2 million, 5%, that's nothing compared to what they're going to offer CC now.
And look, if there's no CBA in place, you can bet Unrivaled will make a serious play for Caitlin Clark. Think about it. If they land her, everything changes overnight. Ratings skyrocket, sponsors pile in, and suddenly Unrivaled doesn't just look like a side project. It looks like a billion-dollar league. If they ever expanded to 5-on-5, they could actually start competing with the WNBA. Remember, analysts estimated Caitlin alone was worth $1 billion to the WNBA this year if she stayed healthy. And right now, the entire WNBA is valued at $3.5 billion, with team prices doubling since Caitlin arrived. So yeah, Caitlin and Unrivaled, we're not talking empty gyms anymore. We're talking full arenas, massive paydays, and a huge chunk of equity. And don't forget, she already turned down millions from Ice Cube's Big Three. So the bag here would have to be enormous. But here's where the fantasy ends, because Caitlin Clark is not joining Unrivaled. And here's why. First, it's 3-on-3. That format destroys bodies. Last season, players were dropping left and right. Teams even had to forfeit games. It builds cardio, sure, but the injury risk isn't worth it. Second, the competition. These are the same players who rough her up in the WNBA. You think they are suddenly protecting Caitlin just because they've got equity? Not a chance. Third, the CBA drama. Make no mistake, Unrivaled is part of those negotiations. The WNBA doesn't want its stars jumping over, and Brianna Stewart and Afiza Collier are running Unrivaled while also sitting at the union table. That's a massive conflict of interest, and Caitlin isn't touching that with a 10-foot pole. And fourth, branding. Caitlin Clark's entire image is about prestige, championships, legacy, playing on the biggest stage. No gimmicks, no sideshows. She literally turned down a 3-on-3 Olympic spot, and if Team USA had offered her a 5-on-5 slot, she would have taken it instantly. She doesn't want the sideshow, and that's exactly what Unrivaled would feel like. So what does she do instead? That's where the story gets good. Because if you connect the dots, Caitlyn's next move is already lined up, and it's way smarter. Let's talk about Nike. They finally rolled out her signature logo, and all signs point to her first shoe dropping in May 2026, right as the WNBA tips off. Yeah, Nike's rollout has been slow. They clearly wanted AJ Wilson's shoe to shine first, but now the path is clear. Nike can finally go all in on Caitlyn. And Caitlin Clark isn't just an Iowa legend or WNBA star. She's a global brand. So what's the best way to build that global fire before her shoe launch? Europe, 5-on-5 basketball at the highest level. Stacked rosters like Fonner Butcher with Jonquil Jones, Emma Meesman, Gabby Williams, and more. Imagine Caitlyn tearing it up overseas while Nike blasts her face on billboards in every city she plays. She stays in rhythm. She avoids a CBA mess. She builds hype for her return, and it's all clean, prestigious, and perfectly aligned with Nike's global push. Think Messi in Miami, Ronaldo in Saudi, Beckham in LA. Caitlyn won't hit that same paycheck, but the model is the same. Take your brand global, then bring it back home even bigger. And if you're the WNBA, that's a dream scenario. A healthy Caitlin Clark, coming back as an even bigger international star, launching her first signature shoe right as the season starts. That's not just growth, that's a takeover.
I still think the Caitlin Clark Tour, the Caitlin Clark World Tour, might be the best option, as in, she plays 5v5, she brings a team of 12 WNBA players, and they do 2 3-week tours, which means they might get in 3 weeks, 21 days, they play 6 games. They play a game every 3 days in different cities around Europe, and then they take a break, then they do a tour of Australia and China. They play against all the top EuroLeague teams, they play against all the top teams in the NBL and all the top teams in the WCBA.
This is the path that fits her brand perfectly. Something smaller, sharper, and completely under her control. Think about it. Every time Caitlin Clark steps on the floor, the world tunes in. Remember that preseason matchup against the Brazilian team? Over 1.3 million people watched what was basically an exhibition game. That's the Caitlin effect. Fans will pay, travel, and stream just to see her play, no matter the setting. Which is exactly why she doesn't need Unrivaled, or even Europe, if she doesn't want them. She has the power to create her own stage, whether that's a short exhibition series or exclusive showcase games, all on her terms, all building her brand even higher. And when you really connect the dots, the Caitlin to Unrivaled fantasy collapses. It's just not happening. But here's the real question. What do you think? Could she shock us and take a different route? Or is the writing already on the wall? Let me know in the comments, because one thing's for sure, 2026 is bringing us Caitlin Clark basketball, and it's going to be bigger than anything we've seen before.